She arrived at the restaurant with nothing to lose and a favor to repay. By the time dessert arrived, she'd accidentally stolen someone else's future, and he was grateful for it. Maya Chen had exactly $47 in her checking account, a resume that hadn't gotten a single callback in 3 months, and a borrowed dress that was half a size too small. The last thing she needed was to spend her Saturday evening pretending to be someone she wasn't. But when her roommate Jenna called from the hospital, appendicitis, terrible timing, blind date in 2 hours, Maya heard herself saying yes before her brain could intervene. His name is Daniel, Jenna had gasped between waves of pain. Daniel Preston. He's expecting me at Marcello's at 7. I know it's crazy to ask, but could you just go? Tell him what happened. He seemed really sweet over the app, and I hate to ghost him. That's how Maya found herself smoothing down the emerald dress in front of Marcello's tall windows, rehearsing her explanation. She'd deliver the message, apologize on Jenna's behalf, and leave. Simple, quick, painless. Daniel Preston was already seated when she walked in. He looked up from his phone, and Maya watched something shift in his expression, a flicker of confusion, then curiosity. He stood, tall and lean in a navy blazer, with kind eyes that crinkled at the corners when he smiled. Jenna? He asked, uncertain. No, Maya started, but the waiter appeared, pulling out her chair with practiced efficiency. She sat, flustered, and Daniel did the same. I need to explain. I'm not actually. You look nervous, Daniel interrupted gently. First time doing this. The blind date thing. You have no idea, Maya said, laughing despite herself. Listen, I really need to tell you. How about we order first? I always think better with food. His smile was disarming, genuine. The carbonara here is supposed to be life-changing. Maya knew she should insist, should blurt out the truth immediately. But there was something about the way he looked at her, like she was someone worth listening to, that made her hesitate. One appetizer. She'd tell him over appetizers. Except the bruschetta arrived, and Daniel asked her what she did, and somehow Maya found herself telling him the truth. Not Jenna's carefully curated corporate consultant bio, but her own messy reality. How she'd moved to New York to be a children's book illustrator. How the market was impossible, how she was working 3 part-time jobs just to make rent, how she was starting to wonder if she should give up and move back to Ohio. Don't, Daniel said firmly, leaning forward. Don't give up. Can I see your work? No one ever asked to see her work. Maya pulled out her phone with trembling hands, swiping through her portfolio. Daniel studied each illustration with intense focus, her watercolor forests, her whimsical creatures, her brave little protagonists facing big, scary worlds. These are extraordinary, he said finally, and the way he said it made Maya's throat tight. You have something special here. Real magic. They're just drawings, Maya whispered. No. Daniel's voice was certain. They're doorways. Every kid who reads a book with these pictures is going to remember how they felt. That matters. That's important. The entrees arrived. Then dessert. And somewhere between the tiramisu and the espresso, Maya realized she'd forgotten to tell him. Hours had passed, and she'd been so caught up in their conversation, about art and purpose, about Daniel's work as a pediatric nurse, about the small moments that make life meaningful, that Jenna's name hadn't crossed her lips since she sat down. I need to confess something, Maya said finally, her heart hammering. I'm not who you think I am. Daniel set down his coffee cup carefully. I know. What? You're not Jenna. Jenna's profile said she's a consultant who does triathlons. You have paint under your fingernails and you've been limping slightly since you walked in, which tells me those shoes don't fit right, which means you borrowed them. His eyes were twinkling now. Also, Jenna has a tattoo of a compass on her wrist. I noticed in her pictures. Maya felt her face burning. You knew this whole time. Why didn't you say anything? Because whoever you are, you showed up to deliver a message and ended up staying for dinner with a complete stranger. That's either incredibly kind or incredibly foolish, and I was betting on kind. He reached across the table, not quite touching her hand but close enough that she could feel the warmth. I'm glad I bet on kind. Her appendix burst, Maya said in a rush. Jenna, she's my roommate. She called me from the hospital and asked me to come tell you she couldn't make it. I was going to tell you immediately, but then you were so nice, and I sat down, and... And you accidentally had the best first date of my life, Daniel finished. His smile was soft now, vulnerable. Is it the best date of your life? Maya thought about it honestly. I've never told anyone I should quit before and had them tell me to keep going. So yes. Definitely yes. Good. Daniel signaled for the check, and Maya's stomach dropped when she remembered her bank account. But he waved away her fumbling attempt to contribute. I asked you to stay. This is on me. But Maya, he paused, and she loved that he remembered her name, that he said it like it meant something. Would you consider going on a second first date? One where you're not delivering bad news and I'm not expecting someone else. 3 months later, Maya was still working her 3 jobs, still painting in the tiny corner of the apartment she shared with Jenna. But now she painted with purpose, because Daniel had connected her with a friend who ran a small publishing house, and they'd asked to see her full portfolio. And now she ended her days not alone, but curled up on Daniel's couch while he told her about the kids at the hospital, the ones fighting big battles who needed stories about brave heroes who didn't give up. Jenna had recovered beautifully from her appendicitis. She'd even started dating a surgeon she met during her hospital stay. At Sunday brunch, a new tradition for all 4 of them, she loved to joke that her burst appendix was the best thing that ever happened to everyone involved. I do feel a little guilty though, Jenna said one morning, stabbing her avocado toast. I mean, Daniel was supposed to be my blind date. Daniel looked up from his pancakes, then at Maya, his eyes full of that same kindness that had kept her in her seat that first night. Here's the thing about blind dates, he said thoughtfully. You're always meeting a stranger. The person who shows up is never who you imagined. They're better or worse, different or surprising, but they're never the picture in your head. He reached for Maya's hand across the table. The woman who walked into Marcello's that night in borrowed shoes, ready to deliver bad news to a stranger and somehow brave enough to stay, that's who I was meant to meet. Not the idea of someone I'd never met. The real, actual person who showed up. Maya felt tears prickling her eyes. Even though I was just a replacement. You were never a replacement, Daniel said firmly. You were an answer to a question I didn't know I was asking. What kind of person stops their life to help someone else? What kind of person tells the truth even when it's embarrassing? What kind of person has $47 and still tips the waiter 20%? You noticed that too. Maya groaned. I notice everything about you. Daniel kissed her paint-stained knuckles. And I've never wanted to go back and meet the original date. Not for a single second. Later that evening, alone in her corner with her watercolors, Maya painted a new story. It was about a girl who went on an adventure she'd never planned, who met a dragon who turned out to be kind, who discovered that sometimes the wrong door leads to exactly the right room. She painted it in emerald greens and navy blues, in soft espressos and warm golds. When she showed it to Daniel, he held it like it was precious. What's it called? The Beautiful Accident, Maya said. Because sometimes the best things in life are the ones we never saw coming. Daniel pulled her close, and Maya thought about fate and chance, about burst appendixes and borrowed dresses, about showing up even when you're scared. She thought about how easy it would have been to say no to Jenna, to let Daniel sit alone at that table, to never know what magic waited on the other side of fear. Thank you, Daniel whispered into her hair. For what? For staying. For being brave enough to sit down in shoes that hurt and a dress that didn't fit. For being exactly who you are. Maya smiled against his chest, thinking that kindness had brought her here, Jenna's kindness in asking, her own kindness in showing up, Daniel's kindness in seeing who she really was. And maybe that was the real magic. Not the grand gestures or perfect timing, but the small human choice to be gentle with each other, to stay when leaving would be easier, to see the person in front of you instead of the one you expected. She was never supposed to be at that table. But she was exactly where she belonged.